it kind of helped them advance. I mean, do you think this was a conspiracy?
Gotta go with Jacob Butter. Gotta go lefty.
No, we're talking about the players. That's tournament champions into the podcast.
There he is, right there.
Oh, he doesn't even know how to watch. Go to youtube.com and search Down Lane Podcast. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Down Lane Podcast. We are streaming live from the lab at Town and Country Lanes. I'm your host, Kyle Haynes, and with me is the assistant to the host, Anthony Scatia.
How's everybody doing today? Can you guys hear me?
Loud and clear. For once, I think we got things squared away.
Well, first time and only time.
Don't forget, guys, like, subscribe, click the bell to get alerts from the channel. And as always, we would love you to share with your friends because everybody loves bowling.
That's right. Who doesn't like bowling? Share us. We have some good personality. Well, at least I do. I'm not sure about Kyle. He's kind of on the edge. But, come watch me. Hang out. Type some questions in. That's right.
Don't forget, if you cannot watch when we're live, you can always go back on YouTube or you can download the show on your favorite podcast outlet. And while you're doing that, please give us a 5-star review. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and you can email us even at downlanepod@gmail.com. And as always, please comment to us during the show. We like to take questions and we like to have some nice discussions. So speaking of nice discussions, tonight we are talking about urethane, everybody's favorite ball.
This is getting a little out of hand, folks. I'm not gonna lie.
Specifically about urethane, we are talking about whether or not it should be banned, which we'll talk more about as we go on. But that does bring us to our poll question of the week.
Thanks for everybody who participated, and we look forward to your answers next week.
So we posted out there in the world, do you think urethane should be banned? Because that's going to be our topic tonight. And overwhelmingly, 79% said no. 21% said yes. What do you think about those results?
That's good results. Good results. I mean, it's tough to ban stuff, but we're going to try and do our best to advocate for both sides of the topic.
Yeah, we'll see. In the bowling world this week, there's actually a lot going on. Maybe people wouldn't really know about it, but there's a lot going on.
Yeah, ridiculous. Don't even do the what was your gosh darn thing with
grinding my gears?
Grinding my gears. I mean, come on, people. Let's do a better job here at getting these bowlers out there.
I completely agree. So, for example, going on this week is the PanAm Championship.
Oh, you don't say.
In Colombia.
I'm not going to lie. I had no idea this was going on until you messaged me the other day and said, hey, look at this. And I'm like, what the heck is that? He's like, the PanAm Games. Are you not paying attention? I was like, well, I didn't even know what was going on. What kind of crap is that? What kind of wool over the eyes are you trying to pull? PBA, USB-C, I don't know what it is. I'm sorry.
That's all right. You are getting crazy here. That's okay.
Unbelievable.
Though.
What the heck is your problem?
I agree. People, at least in the bowling world, should know all about what's going on. However, the main reason why I knew it was going on is because I saw some tweets and Instagram posts a few weeks ago of all the ladies and guys that were being sent via Team USA to Colombia to participate in this event.
We should be on that team.
Sorry. Hilarious. Team USA is in Colombia. Unfortunately, nobody medaled in singles, the men or the women. I was watching the head coach.
Did you say fortunately?
Unfortunately.
Okay. I was going to say, what are you rooting against the USA?
I'm not that much of a jerk. Come on. So no medals in singles. And after the first day, apparently things were pretty difficult there. I mean, obviously they're very difficult. They're bowling on a 1.6 to 1 ratio, almost completely flat. It's the 38-foot Los Angeles pattern, if anybody is familiar with that. I actually do have it right here. So basically, super flat, 1.6 to 1.
Looks like my kind of shot.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty tough, but you would love it being a lefty. The head coach, why am I blanking on his name?
O'Keefe?
O'Keefe, yeah, Brian, right? Brian
Yep.
O'Keefe.
Guy we interviewed at Glens Falls, remember him?
That's absolutely
Good
right.
guy, Brian. Good guy, Brian.
Very, very nice guy. We did do a quick interview. You can catch that on the YouTube channel as well. They reevaluated after the first day. Apparently, they practiced a lot on the pattern, of course, but it was completely different when they got there. Or I shouldn't say completely different, but it was just a lot harder. Or
sounds like everywhere you go, it's different.
Right.
Here we go, people. Once again, down another rabbit hole today.
Yeah,
always plays different wherever you go.
Exactly right. So they got into doubles, and actually the women and the men took gold in doubles. So Lauren Pate and Brianna Clemmer for the women's, and Nick Pate, brother of Lauren, how crazy is that? And Kyle Sherman took gold for the men's doubles. So and trios was today. I haven't gotten the updates, but trios was today, which is a 2-day. I'm sorry, Tuesday and Wednesday. It's a 2-day event.
Congratulations to those 4 kind people in the bowling world. Congratulations on your win.
The nice thing was that I don't know what the organization is because the website's all in Spanish, but they actually have a live feed for everyone to watch for guess how much?
$0.00.
That's exactly right.
Wow.
FREE.
Unbelievable.
So I appreciate
notes.
that. That's right. Take notes, everyone else.
Yes.
But I do appreciate being able to watch it live. I don't get a lot of opportunity to do it, but it's nice that it's out there for people to
enjoy
view.
at their leisure.
But if you didn't subscribe to USBC News, or if you didn't subscribe to these people on social media, you're absolutely right. It's very difficult to know that it's going on. In other bowling news, and this week the PBA finally aired the CP3 event, which is the Chris Paul Invitational.
Didn't you have a riff about that a few weeks ago?
I did. For those that didn't get a chance to watch, they can watch back. But yeah, I was just upset at the fact that it wasn't live. It was like top secret. You know, the only reason we knew it was happening was because a couple of bowlers were tweeting about it, and it didn't air until this past Sunday. But in that, it included Terrell Owens, Hannibal Burris, Chris Paul Sr., and Rachel Lindsay.
Who?
Exactly. She was a contestant on The Bachelorette.
I'm pretty sure she actually had her own show, Kyle.
Whatever. Does that even constitute being a celebrity?
I mean, I don't watch that stuff. My girlfriend does, so that's the only reason I know about it. But, I mean, I guess.
Calling you a liar.
All right, Kyle, I love The Bachelorette. All right? I love that show. I'm all about love.
Yeah. Finding true love on The Bachelorette, right?
Yeah, but Austin actually put out a good point here. Nick Pate shot 300 in 2019 to help secure gold for the USA in the PanAm Games 2019. So he is on fire. Why the heck would I not bring that guy? Yeah, he is pretty good. He throws it kind of funky a little bit. It's got a really late delivery, but it's obviously working.
Yeah. So back to the CP3, the PBA players were AJ Johnson, Sean Rash, Bill O'Neill, Darren Tang, Andrew Anderson, excuse me. And then I think, is it Yasmin, right?
I don't know.
I forget how to say her name. Mason.
I thought it was Jasmine.
Gigi, right? So they call her.
They call her Gigi.
I don't know how. I mean, she's a PWBA player, not a PBA player, but they listed her as a PBA player.
Oh, maybe she bowls in some PBA events.
She might. I'm sure she bowls in regionals and stuff for sure. So T.O. and AJ Johnson won.
Who'd have thought that Terrell Owens
throws it pretty good, dude?
Can throw it pretty. I mean, he's not half bad.
Yeah.
I mean, do we have a video of it? Oh wait, we can't do that. They'll copyright.
No, last time we showed a video of the PBA, they nailed us on the YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, so we can't show you, but you can probably go check it out on the internets. T.O., he's a palmer. He doesn't use his thumb. He palms it.
Half thumb.
Oh, he half thumbs it. That's right. We were watching. Yep. He was, I think I checked the stat. He was 19 miles an hour, and his rev rate was 450.
Yeah.
I mean, he actually threw it halfway decent. I mean, he is a world-class athlete, so let's not surprise people. I mean, but, he actually looked pretty good up there, semi-decent form, and he bowled with A.J. Johnson. Perfect. A.J. Johnson's like horse jockey next to him. You know what I mean? But, I mean, the intensity from both players was unbelievable. It was electric to watch.
I disagree. I thought it was pretty boring.
Yeah, I agree with you. So trying to talk it up a little bit, but it wasn't as we talked about. It wasn't as entertaining as we thought it would be. I mean, if they're professional athletes or entertainers, bring the fire.
I agree with you. They had Hannibal Buress on there,
the best.
Who is
he was
funny
the best.
Dude,
he was the best.
He literally says during the match, he's like, I don't know. They called me 4 hours ago to be here. Like, did somebody must have dropped out or whatever? Yeah. But he got the notification, like,
Hey, I give him props. He showed up. He did a good job, and he entertained the people. I will say he was the most entertained. He was talking up a storm on the approach. Yep. He was doing a little bit of trash talking. When they talked to him on the side, Bill O'Neill's like, man, this guy is just he is off the rails right now. And he was just loving it. He was enjoying his time, and that's how it should be versus when it was a little bit more. I mean, I felt like it was a little dull. Some people were.
I think so too. I talked to my friend Wig, who we introduced on the show last week.
Wig Wong.
Yep, that's right. And he nominated one of our bowlers of the week. And he enjoyed watching it. He likes the celebrities on the lanes. And he also remarked that he thinks Anderson is really good. He really likes him. So, if you're trying to capture that audience, I guess it works. The thing that I was disappointed about during the show, they weren't showing anything to educate people that would be watching this event, right? Like most of us, but most of us that are tuning in now and that really enjoy and love the game aren't watching generally. Like I wouldn't have watched if it wasn't for doing the show because I don't care for the event, not the charity or anything. Just I think it's
the event itself. The event itself.
Yeah, but I think for I guess your average guy or maybe below average, it is a good way to bring people in. But they should be kind of educating them a little bit, some way in a fun way. I don't know how, but educating them. Look at T.O. He rolls the ball. He gets strikes. Then you got Hannibal Buress and Chris Paul Sr., who were almost throwing backup balls. And nothing against them. It's just that you could show, look at this guy. He's taken some time to practice. He's got a little bit of a game, and he can throw strikes. These other guys, don't really know anything about the game. They could do something to educate the people a little bit, right?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think they definitely could because they have a different audience. But not going back to somebody else, but T.O., who has gotten better, I think. Watching him from a few events.
Austin he's better than Chris Paul. I don't think Chris Paul, I don't think he's improved at all.
No, and but T.O. actually bowled up the Open Championships in 2013. Austin, if you have it, can we play that, you think, Kyle?
Absolutely. If he's got something, sure.
If you've got it.
Let's play it.
Yeah, let's see what he looks like in 2013 at the U.S. Open Championships. Yeah.
These are the USBC Open Championships?
This is, that's what it says.
Yeah, not the U.S. Open. Oh, yeah.
Not the U.S. Open Championships. Nice. At least we know that another... That's pretty smooth, if you ask me.
I'm telling you, dude. Look at that. Did he just carry that 10-pin or no?
Yeah, it looks like he did. I mean, that's the thing, though. Granted, why are we not picking players that might have an interest or a skill level in the game? I mean, look, Jerome Bettis, we talked about it. You had no idea. He was an avid bowler. He wanted to become a professional bowler prior to becoming a football player. He's got 300 in a Pro-Am event. I'm not saying that he's going to be the greatest, but why are we not? He might not be as popular now, but at least he still is a celebrity. I mean, he's a Hall of Fame running back. He was a Steeler, which is more important because Steelers best. But why the heck are we not putting up, him? It's nice to see Mookie Betts up there. Granted, he's in the postseason run. I get it, but there's got to be something different than just random people who can throw the ball straight. Like that's great. You can show the differences in the skill levels, but let's get some guys who can maybe chuck the pellet a little bit or give them some direction. Let them practice for at least a month so they have an idea what they can do. Let's not just have somebody who goes up there and throws the ball. Make it more entertaining.
They show up an hour before.
Yeah.
There's got to be somebody out there. Even the kid from, again, Big Brother, not really a celebrity, but he actually is a bowler, like in real life.
Like you got to be able to. There's so many celebrities nowadays, and I guess social media celebrities, TV, football, baseball. There's got to be a few people who can chuck the pellet down the lane pretty good.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that there's not.
No, there's got to be somebody out there.
And I'm sure they would love to go meet Chris Paul. But why aren't we seeing basketball they just started, but this was filmed a few weeks ago. I'd rather see some bigger celebrities. It'd be nice to see LeBron back out there. Not my favorite player. But, why can't we get
He's entertaining at least.
Yeah, at least, let's get some chirping. Let's get something going on instead of just kind of the relaxed show.
It just seemed I don't know if they
Entertain me.
Yeah,
Entertain me for, don't.
Yeah.
It's not a bowling show. Entertain me.
Right.
In bowling. So
Steely Bones said he felt that the personal vlog of Darren Tang was more entertaining compared to the actual show.
yeah, Tang's blogs are pretty good, but I agree. I mean, Sherman and Kyle Sherman. They're just to make sure I got the names right.
We're up to 100,000 subscribers, by the way.
Congratulations.
So if any of those guys want to just switch over and check out our podcast, all you have to do is click subscribe.
Yeah. But it's interesting because I think they're extremely they're
Entertaining.
their videos are much better than like the PBA. Like you get to see a little bit more of the backstory. I can see what they're going to drill. You can see what they're drilling now, and that's not for everybody. But Darren Tang too, he's extremely entertaining. He matches the personality of a kid my age, if not a little younger. They do a good job. Why are they not collaborating with the PBA to create different kind of viewers
content?
Yeah. Why are you just letting them do it by themselves? Jump in, try to grow it and bandwagon off of it because they do a good job.
Right.
Like maybe they are. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. But Mitch Young says, I really wish the Weber Cup had been on TV over the CP3 event, which I couldn't agree more. And speaking of the Weber Cup, Team Europe.
Yeah, well, I wasn't on Team USA. What are you going to do?
I mean, so Team Europe takes the championship 18-17. I just want to, they seemed, pretty excited about the win, which I expect. But I just want to let them know that we still won the war. All right. So we're still better in all ways.
Did you say we just won the war?
No, we still won the war, a couple hundred years ago. Revolutionary War.
Great comparison, Kyle.
And we dumped that tea right in the harbor.
Yeah, that's right. Stu Williams, take that. Take that in your tea. Is that how you like your tea?
In the ocean?
Jesus. Yeah, well, that wasn't on TV either. It would have been a little interesting to see.
I'll tell you what. I completely agree with Mitch. There is no reason why that should not have been on television. Speaking of which, guess how you had to watch it?
Bull TV.
No.
Flow Bowling.
Nope. You
YouTube,
had to subscribe to yet another streaming service, the DAZN, whatever that is. You might have to say it something differently because I don't even know what DAZN means.
The DAZN.
DAZN. But you had D-Zone. Is that what that means, Mitch? Thank you. I looked all over their website and I couldn't even figure it out. So, but thank you, D-Zone. Anyway, you had to yet subscribe to another one. So you would have, if you want to watch all sources of bowling, you have to buy Flow, you have to buy Bowl TV, and now if you want to watch the Weber Cup from America, you have to now buy D-Zone.
D-Zone.
D-Zone. I just, that made me furious. But what about the format? What do you think about the format? On one lane.
I think it's kind of boring.
Do you?
One lane isn't bowling. You got to have two. I mean, if I go bowl in one lane, I'm always going to bowl better than if I'm bowling two lanes because the other lane's different.
Yeah,
but they got to
about the team event. They got 10 guys bowling on. I mean, it's really like one person because it's. Bakers, but I think they also might have had a team event. But anyway, you got 10 guys bowling on one lane. I think that's pretty interesting. I mean,
it definitely makes the
lane.
Break down a lot more. I don't know. I guess they're trying to come up with maybe a different variety of bowling, but it kind of just, what are you going to do? Make it 5-man Baker, and instead of just two teams, why the heck aren't you having more? I mean, I don't know how many players there are, but
I think it's like, what is it, the Ryder Cup in golf?
Yeah,
is that
I know, but
Europe versus USA. It's
that's just, it's similar, but why are you going to try and copy the Ryder Cup? Why not just make it its own entity? Why not have more teams and be able to say, yeah, well, here's our best 40 players. Here's your best 40 players. Let's go at it and see who can win. Not make it, it is still USA and Europe. I don't know how many people Europe have. I'm sure they have good bowlers. But you could have 30 and 30 or 20 and 20 and make it a team of 5 and just make it a little bit different. And instead of just doing Team USA versus Team Europe, why don't you do like a whole event? And see what team is the best, or maybe just something a little different. I know it's got to be tough, but
you're kind of equating it similarly to the Ryder Cup.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have a full-on tournament. You got 80 bowlers there, 40 from US, 40 from Europe,
right?
And every match gets points or whatever. I don't know exactly how they would do
5-on-5
it,
it's a very small sample size.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
I just
agree.
think it should be a little bit bigger. I think it'd be a little bit better if it was a little bigger. But how much effort do they want to put into it? I don't know. It's once a year thing. How
Right.
hard is it to get players? That's the other thing. Travel during COVID, I get it, but we're almost kind of to the point where people are able to travel more often freely now. So why not make it a little bit bigger? Why not try to change the format a little bit? I know the PanAm games are going on, so then that takes away from bowlers there. Why
Yeah.
are we overlapping events? It seems
The
like
scheduling was not ideal for this. You're absolutely right.
The scheduling has to be a little bit better. Now I understand there's a PBA, PWBA, this, that, PanAm games. There's probably a Europe tour, but there's got to be a time. There's got to be a time where you can bring everybody together and say, this is how we're going to do it. You're going to represent your country or your Europe and America or whatever it is.
Yep.
And do it a little bit. Do it a little bit better.
They kind of do that in the World Series of Bowling. They have the USA versus the world part of it.
That's true.
That's the world, Austin. We're talking Weber Cup. We're talking the Europe.
Oh, I know. I'm
Europeans.
just saying, like, we could accomplish the same thing by taking that part out of the World Series of Bowling and making it its own tournament.
There you go.
Yeah,
do that too.
I agree. There needs to be more organization between all of the different organizations, more communication maybe, so that everything doesn't overlap and the bowlers don't have to decide what they're going to be doing.
Right.
But I think it's interesting to have something a little bit different though on the one lane where we're always used to seeing two lanes.
Sure.
So it's at least a little bit different.
Make it one lane, but
I'm just saying. I just saying for this format, I think it's interesting to do something a little bit different than what normally has been going on.
I value your opinion.
Thanks. So let's move right into it. Let's get into the topic of the week, which was inspired. Inspired by the USBC discussion forum. I think his name is Gary Beck, I believe, who asked this question earlier this week. And Anthony was like, this is what we are talking about on the show this week.
I did send that to you.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy has got a rise out of literally everybody in that group thing.
Yeah.
Kind of gets a little bit crazy. People just like to beat a dead horse.
Yeah.
We just kind of jumped in because we thought, people are talking about it. So we'll just chat about it and see what people think.
Yeah. So like,
put it in the comments.
Yeah.
Do you think urethane should be banned or not? And then maybe put a viewpoint. We can have an open discussion.
Absolutely. That's why I hope everybody's here. We can talk to each one of you and get your opinions, and we can tear them down or rise them up. But which is also interesting because on this USBC discussion forum on the Facebook,
the face page,
which we were banned from for a hot second.
Were we?
We were muted. Yeah. I was sharing too many links. The guy loves to shut people down. So they actually turned the comments off on Gary's post. The guy
who runs it.
Yep.
Okay.
Turned the comments off because I guess people were getting too heated about it. So God forbid anybody can talk about something.
People are behind a keyboard. Nobody's gonna get hurt.
So Kevin Shirey, sorry Kevin, says people who want to ban urethane are part of bowling's problem.
Wow. Very straightforward.
Yeah, I love it.
I appreciate it. I appreciate that side of it. So
I wanted to bring up the history of bowling balls while we're at it. And I have this little chart here. So originally,
I have a wood ball out there.
Not originally from like Egypt, but in the 1800s, the first bowling balls were made of lignum vitae. I don't know how to say it, but it's hardwood.
We have one of those out there.
I haven't seen it.
I have it. It's in the trophy case. We have a wood bowling ball from Altamont Lanes.
Wow.
Yeah.
From my hometown. And that was until about 1905 when the introduction of rubber bowling balls started. And then after that, plastic or polyester was in 1959. And then in the 1970s, plastic dominated over rubber, so it became obsolete. And then in the early 1980s, the big old change happened. Well, not the biggest change, but that was urethane in the 1980s. And then, of course, I think it was in the early 1990s, you have the reactive resin. And then particle eventually, but particle has since been removed from play. Correct? They took that off. No, particle bowling balls.
Yeah, I don't think particle is really allowed anymore. I don't even know if it's allowed. I shouldn't say that. I have no idea if they even make it.
I'm pretty sure they took it off the
The list.
list of stuff. Yeah. So the point of bringing all that up, I think, in my opinion, the argument to ban urethane is just plain stupid. Like, it's a lesser quote unquote technology. It was developed in the 80s, and then resin overpowered it, and everybody forgot about it. And then now it's back because of the high volumes of oil and everything, and it gets into that early roll and stuff. And I feel like people are just angry that carry down is back, where it used to kind of disappear for a little while after resin started. So if your argument is that it changes the lanes too much, that you have to adjust, I'm sorry, that's a silly argument in my opinion.
That's a good point, Kyle. Very good. I mean, I don't know. It's a tough one to talk about because I see it from a different perspective. I'm not going to say urethane should be banned, but I saw some comments in that
thread.
Yeah, because you post for me. Let's not lie to the people. Kyle is the one who majority posts in that thing.
I hijacked Anthony's Facebook.
So most of that stuff you see is from him. But, I mean, I look at what a guy said. What did he say? I don't remember anymore. I was just I got off the gosh darn topic of it. But, I mean, if you look at it, if you do try to ban the urethane equipment, you would have to almost ban everything else besides reactive resin.
Exactly.
So there goes your plastic. There goes your, if you're using rubber, I don't know. So it basically takes away everything out of play. I mean, it's a tough thing, though, because for my customers, urethane is a bad thing, and I do not sell to them unless they bowl in tournaments. Because
most of the guys who don't bowl in tournaments, they're not probably quote unquote skilled enough. I don't want to knock anybody down, but truthfully, if you're not bowling in tournaments, you're just throwing up once a week in league, you're probably not skilled enough to be using it so that in an effective manner.
Right. I think that's the other thing is when you need to use it, when you don't. Urethane is typically used as it is a lesser technology and it rolls really early. It should be used to control the lane, or when, you have to get rid of that duck hook. If the ball's duck hooking, you can't find anything that works. Typically, urethane will slow down and really control that lane a little bit better. And I don't like the stigma that urethane hooks less. I mean, it does, but it's a different hook shape. It's not even completely similar. So when people are like, oh, if you ban urethane, your older generation of bowlers is going to quit because they all use urethane. I hate to break it to you, but a short pin reactive resin bowling ball for an older player is going to be more than likely better than a urethane ball. And I'm not talking a high-end piece of equipment. I have a guy who came in here and he's like, I'm just looking to keep the ball on the right side of the lane. So I drilled an entry-level ball, a Rhino, and I did a short pin on it. And he came in 2 weeks later and said, Anthony, I want to thank you because you extended my bowling life by another 5 years, because now the ball doesn't hook as much. I can hit the head pin and I can make a spare and I'm happy. Before I couldn't even keep it on the lane. And mind you, he was throwing a urethane ball prior to that. So don't...
Newer technology or older?
It was probably an older one, which is probably not as good as today's, I'm assuming.
I don't recall them having, real weight blocks in them or something, or maybe they did a little bit, but
he had a few of them. So I know, looking at what people are saying, the older people are going to quit if you get rid of urethane. I highly doubt that they will quit because it's usually their social hour anyways. So they want to come in and the pro shop operator should be able to point people in a direction to where they shouldn't have to throw urethane on a house shot. That is my opinion as me being a pro shop operator. You want to turn it on me, Kyle?
I just need to put your camera in focus. I don't
know how to do that.
No, for me, I'm biased in the argument because I had never had a urethane ball prior to last year or last season, and it completely changed the game.
No, you did have a urethane ball. You had a black hammer.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. That I used for spares.
Right.
You
have a strike ball one now.
Yes. So I got the purple hammer, and it completely changed how I bowled out at the Open Championships. It gave me so much more room than any short pin, long pin.
To be fair, you haven't thrown a low flare short pin ball though.
Didn't we drill the bonus to be? I know that's not a super good ball. That's not a lot.
That's a shorter pin, but it's not a low flare short pin. Low flare is going to make its only flares about 2.5 inches,
Mhm.
2.25 inches. So what happens is it flares just as much as a urethane ball does, and the resin in it gives it a little bit more length while still giving it a urethane-like shape. Zach Bailey, you know Zach Bailey. Just so everybody knows, we have this kid. All he does is throw urethane, and he's like, "What should I do with this ball here?" And I short pinned it, and he's like, "Whoa, this ball never overreacts; it just rolls." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's the point of a short pin. When your urethane ball isn't quite enough, and you want to use a kind of a urethane-like reaction on the lane without transitioning it in a negative way, which most of the time players do, you can go to the short pin symmetrical ball." And I don't agree with that. If you want to ban urethane, that you're the problem with bowling. I don't agree with that either. I think that's kind of just it's my way or the highway. I don't like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mitch
give
was
me more
saying
then. Give me more than if you're going to say that.
more than what?
People who want to ban urethane are part of the bowling's problems. Let me know. Give me more information on that. Why are they a part of bowling's problems?
Right.
Because if you come to my world where I have to have people bowl every day, the problem is that nobody teaches bowling anymore, so they stand on the big dot, throw it at the second arrow regardless, and they're not going to move anyways. So it's more or less that people don't teach bowling anymore, and they just kind of.
I agree with that, but I think
go
what
out there
that
and
person
throw
is saying when they say that they're bowling's problems, I can kind of see what they're saying, because if they're wanting to ban because it affects them negatively on the lanes, that's a silly argument. I think we just got a 300 out here, or a big spare maybe. I'm not really sure, but it got loud, real loud out in the house.
My dad's videoing it, so somebody must have a chance.
So anyway, I think the argument, what he's trying to say is that the person that is calling for the banning of urethane is mad that it affects their lanes negatively and that they have to make those adjustments and maybe don't know how. Like, you're right, the coaching is not there. They don't know how to make the adjustments, but they're just mad about it. They're mad that it gives a certain person more area. They're mad that it carries down the oil, and they just don't know how to adjust to that.
Is it your aunt, Kyle?
Probably. My Aunt Barbara's probably got 300 going. Who knows?
They didn't.
Oh, no. Matt Volk, 296 game. Got the big 6 at the end of the.
Just so we all know, I just drilled that guy a ball. He literally just left the shop.
Just handed him. What was it again?
Black Widow 2.0. Nice game, Matt.
Nice game, Matt Volk. Congratulations.
Great
game. Sorry for the distraction, guys, but yeah, I think that's my opinion. Is that if you were looking to ban urethane because it affects your game too much, I'm sorry to tell you that it helped my game. So the only person I need to be concerned with, unless I'm pulling in a team event, is my game, my score.
Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. Now, I'm going to take it to the next level and kind of throw you off a little bit.
I hope you do.
Great. I really hope I do. Say you're bowling in a 4-man league like out here, and you are the one guy who wants to throw urethane, and you absolutely destroy the lane for your whole team and the rest of everybody else.
Well, that's what I just said.
Yeah, you said you don't care about your whole team.
No, you misheard me. Sorry. I said unless I'm bowling in the team event, a team event, or a team league or whatever.
Right. So if you're bowling in
like, it doesn't matter if I shoot 260 with a urethane. If my partner shoots 180, it's not very helpful.
Yeah, if you're bowling by yourself, I can see that. But if you're
that's my point. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're bowling a 4-man league, are you more pro? Do you want to throw urethane more? Would you be like, I might affect my players negatively, I don't want to throw that? Or would you say, well, screw them. I don't want to. It's all
of course. That's what I'm saying. If I'm on a team, I got to bowl with the team. The team is more important than an individual score.
Right.
So if the team decides that the urethane's not going to help, then I'm going to have to grind out, shoot 200 or whatever we're bowling on, make my spares, etc., for the good of the team. But if I'm bowling individually, this is what I'm talking about, is that it's my game, it's my score that I need to be worried about.
You're right. You're 100% right. I just want to thank Tom Anderson for sending me the axe. He has these. Tom Anderson, I knew he's watching, so when I saw his name on the phone, I had to look. He has got the original urethane, the axe drill sheet here.
Wow.
Yeah, Tom, we talked about it last night because I told him about the topic. And
send that to my email quick, Ant. I'll put it up on the screen.
Okay. We did talk about it last night, and he kind of said the same thing. But believe it or not, I asked him a question and said, "Did when resin came out?" Because me and Tom have conversations about this all the time, and I said to him, Was there so much of an uproar about is there an uproar about reactive resin when it came out as much as there was when people are going back to urethane, or people are saying, oh, look at urethane, I hate urethane? Was there as much as an uproar and saying, oh, resin's horrible, and he's like, I can't recall because I used urethane for another 5 or 6 years after resin was introduced, because he's like, I didn't need it. He was like,
he's also
he's a
straight
purist.
to the head pin, yeah.
He's a purist.
He throws it straight to the head pin, not straight to the head pin. That's being negative about his game, but he's a very Norm Duke style player.
Yes, he plays his game very well. He likes to play him pretty straight. He uses his equipment to his advantage. And Kevin, there we go. We got more. I was waiting for his response because I knew we would get it.
He said, I came back to bowling a few months ago. I bought a urethane because that is what I used to bowl with. Would you, as a new or returning player, want to be around people who say ban my equipment?
Very good point. No, I wouldn't want somebody saying that to me. But then again, let's see, you came back to bowling a few months ago. How many years did you take off? Have you ever tried the new reactive resin bowling balls? The urethane, usually with controllability, you sacrifice pin carry. So there's a possibility your scores could go up. Not a lot, but maybe about 10 pins or so, I'd say. But it's tough. I agree with you. You don't want people saying that, because that's kind of where, that's like somebody using a birch wood bat over a maple wood bat. Oh, this guy's using a birch one, he shouldn't be allowed to use it. It's just kind of like, it is what it is at that point. I don't think look at that. That is the original drilling instructions on the axe. And he actually gave your dad one like 2 years ago, an original axe, not drilled.
My dad.
Yes, your dad.
Really?
Your dad has an axe from Tom that he gave. Like, I don't know if he gave.
Oh, I remember. That's
yes,
right.
I had to look at that thing and said, carry's a bad word. Thanks, Zach Phillips. Carry is a bad word, but your strike percentage should go up. Excuse me. But yeah, it's interesting to see the difference. And there was a little bit of a weight block in that urethane. That's probably why I sent it. There was a little bit of a weight block. And I know we have a ton of conversation. This is getting exciting.
I know, it's hot. Well, Mitch had asked earlier, and Austin put it on the screen, but he thinks that urethane has a place on certain patterns and conditions. He thinks it's honestly on the USBC and PBA to design patterns that make it not as easy to just rely on urethane.
Agreed upon. And they do actually already do that. I did talk to a guy who did some PBA patterns. And he said that when he designs patterns for Masters or US Open or whatever it is, he actually tries to keep in mind that players love to bounce off that urethane. It's like a get out of jail free card. You're welcome, Hammer, because you said that today. It's a get out of jail free card. When you're in trouble, it kind of gets you out of it.
Smooths it out.
It smooths it out. So he actually tried to make it so there was a little bit of a spot in the lane where the ball would break loose down lane, so you couldn't get into that urethane feel, and you couldn't loft it and get the ball to hit still. So he actually kind of combats the urethane with oil, which is interesting to see, because when I run a tournament, I don't typically make my own patterns. I use what they give out on Kegel or the pattern bank from USBC. I try to find patterns that you can throw urethane on, but it might not be ideal because you don't want it to be a urethane fest.
Yep.
That just doesn't do it for me. Even though it's probably a little more true to bowling's roots than reactive resin is today's game.
Yeah. Well, and so Tom was asking you, or you guys were discussing about, the big uproar back in the 80s. Apparently the PBA tournament committee, or whatever the name of it was, there's a small committee, I guess, voted to ban urethane from the tour, but it was never actually
implemented.
The executive committee voted against it.
Yeah,
I think I have that history right. If what's our guy's name that I stole the topic from?
Gary.
If Gary's watching, he can correct me, because I think he posted about that. But that's an interesting point that there probably was as big of an uproar back, 40 years ago about urethane, because it was such a different.
But they're losing money too, I'm assuming, depending on when this was. Because if reactive resin came out, they're trying to push the resin out the door and make more money for ball companies. So they don't want people throwing the old urethane stuff, because they want to go on with the new technology and be able to create a better source of income. So that might have been why they actually tried to do it. Now, that's just speculation. That is not by fact. But that's the way I would look at it. Because there's more possibility with resin than there is with urethane. Urethane, 1981. There he is, Gary. Appreciate it. But going back to what Larry says up in the top, Larry Gagliardi, he asked, what's the differences between the skid hook roll process than the reactive stuff? Urethane is like a soft, I don't know if it's softer. I think it's a little softer. I can't remember because these balls are the ones that get closer to the soft, or closer on the scale of soft, closer to the
Maximum softness.
maximum softness. So they're a little softer. So what they do is, Larry, they hook earlier and then they don't skid nearly as far. So all the energy gets burnt up in the front part of lanes, which is why there's such a controlled reaction down lane, which is why they're preferred on tougher conditions. You know, when the ball's duck hooking really hard off the pattern, like at nationals, that's why guys go to them, to try to just keep it in play, make a spare. Hopefully they throw a double or two down the road. But it's just interesting to see. Yeah, they did try to ban it in 1981, and that's right around where resin came out, right? 1980 we were talking about?
No, a little later than that. 1980 is when the urethane was introduced.
So then what the heck were they going to ban? What were they going to use?
They were banning urethane so they could to go back to polyester. Right.
Urethane has a larger footprint than plastic does. Yes, it does. That's an absolute fact.
That's right.
I don't know. You can make cases for both sides, I think.
Well, for me, I don't think there is a case to ban urethane all out because,
I
said, it's an old, early technology. Resin has been around for 30 years. If you want to talk about banning anything, we should be talking about banning resin.
No, I completely agree.
I mean,
cat's out of the bag, though.
I know the cat's out of the bag, but that's the one that gives you the 10 extra boards out there,
right.
not the, especially on the house shot. But if you put urethane in the hands of everyone on a house shot, sure, things will be different lane condition wise, but the scores will just drop like a rock. It won't be like they are with resin. So urethane is not the problem. It's resin. Jay says urethane is a key resource in today's game. High rev players need urethane on a lot of conditions. If they ban urethane, lower/mediocre rev players will have an advantage over the high rev players. What do you think about that?
I have to read it again. I'm not very good at it.
I literally just said it to you.
I mean, if you, I mean, yeah, I guess so. But short pins are, I'm sorry, pins are dang close.
Yeah.
I mean, you can sand the ball to 500 and you can get a very similar reaction out of react. You can get similar. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be perfect. I've talked to Brian Leclerc about this a few times. You're not gonna get exactly that urethane look, but you're gonna get something pretty darn close where you can control it off the break point. I watched it last night. I watched a kid I drilled a short pin ball for, and it was ridiculous. And Zach Bailey, if you're watching, if you could throw it halfway decent, hit your target, you would have crushed that pattern.
Yeah, well, he's like, you know, a blind kid throwing it all over the lanes. If he can string 5 or 6 strikes together, that's good.
Wow,
but then he has to make a spare. Sorry, Zach Bailey.
No.
But we're letting it out there. If you have to make a spare, it's just like
he's gotten pretty good at his spares. Give him some credit. He worked on it pretty hard.
Listen, I bowled with him all year last year. Anything right of the head pin was questionable.
You guys are so mean. He's gotten better. He has gotten better. I watched him bowl last night. We practiced. I helped him out a little bit. He's going to be going up. I don't know. I think a short pin is just as good. And if you're in league play, and you're in league play and you're throwing urethane, and your team is complaining about you throwing urethane, go buy yourself a short pin ball.
Yep.
Because it's going to take away possibly the negative effects of the carry down. It's a possibility. Yeah, you have to move a little bit, but also if you don't know how to adjust off of urethane, you can get really lost really fast. Yeah. So that's the reason that I'm not a big fan of urethane for house shot players at all. If you've got to use urethane on a house shot, you got to find a better. You're not throwing it good. You're not in the right part of the lane. You're not using the right stuff.
Yeah, but like, so for example, I used
I know you used the black hammer.
The black hammer, and I shot 10-20 or something. But
it created a hold spot but you bowl with my sister.
Yeah, she's left-handed. Yeah, but
okay, so you're not affecting somebody
right. Well, except
the
for
other
our
team.
Opponents.
But that's what I mean. You're bowling against somebody, so it's completely fine. Remember? Right, you're bowling against somebody. If it's on your team and somebody's complaining, it's a different story.
But you were just saying that, you know, you shouldn't need to use urethane on a house shot. But if I'm not looking to stand at 25, if I want to play straighter down 10 instead of 25, and I can achieve it with the black urethane, or black hammer rather, why shouldn't I be doing that?
Just throw it better. Change your hand a little bit, roll it up the back a little bit more.
Better or worse. If I don't want to play 25 to start the night, and I want to play 10 and score better because straighter is greater, why would I not want to do that?
Drill a short pin ball.
I would
I
like
have
to
one.
make an argument.
No, you don't. You do
Go ahead,
not have a
Austin.
short
Go
pin
on.
ball.
I do.
No, you
The
don't.
bonus is short pin.
No,
So-
it's not.
So my biggest gripe with wanting to ban it is
Pin down. Sorry.
as you grow up bowling, you always hear the term "there's no defense in bowling." Well, the
There
only
is now.
defense in bowling is affecting the oil on your pair. So having the ability to actually utilize your resin equipment or your urethane equipment to change the lanes to how either you like them or how you know the other team isn't going to be able to bowl well on them is an advantage. And for example, last year in one of our leagues for the championship match, we changed the whole oil pattern. 2 of us were throwing urethane for 2.5, 3 games, and it wiped the right side out. But we had enough hand in the ball to get back to the pocket.
Yeah, your team was a little bit more. Their team was him, Zach Bailey, and Terry Ray against Ryan Rafferty, Luke Stott, and Ken Rafferty. Ken was okay because it helped him because he's very slow, but Ryan and Luke weren't able to adjust to it. So he has done that before where he's changed the lane to basically play defense.
Yeah.
Not play defense, but to create a better scoring pace for themselves to be able to have a higher score. And in turn, it screwed them up a little bit. Don't lie, Austin. It did. They were not happy, by the way. Like, they were really upset that had happened.
Well,
They're
we had a good talk afterwards, and that's part of the learning experience of bowling. You have to learn how to adjust when someone's changing the lane that quick.
I couldn't agree more.
Just remember, Austin, there's a Belmo effect on PBA. Whenever people bowl you here, there's an Austin effect. People bring different equipment because they have to bowl you. So just remember that. So
but it's no different than the stories of the PBA players. Again, like Norm Duke, he would actually burn up the edge with something 500 or whatever.
Yes.
And then he would throw plastic. There's people have watched him do this. Throw plastic. This is all during practice, right? Throw plastic down the middle of the lane just so that he can create his shot. So pros especially have been doing it forever. Before urethane became big again, when it was resin and mostly plastic, and nobody was thinking about urethane anymore. Plastic for spares, of course. They were doing it for themselves before.
Yeah, of course they were. They're good. They're great. I guess that there was a small defense in banning it. It's because your average players aren't good enough to adjust from it. And they don't want to adjust anyways. So let's not pretend like they want to adjust, because a lot of my players don't want to adjust anyways. They want to stand in the same spot all night and have that oil replenish after they throw a ball right from underneath them. Boom. So they can stay there.
Maybe that's what we need to invent is a lane that automatically re-oils.
Not even a re-oil, but after it throws a shot, it just puts it right up in where that canal is, or right where that ball takes it. And then he just goes right back to what it was. But it's extremely hard for average players. That's the only way I would go with it. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but it's literally, if I go in and if I was right-handed and I bowled against somebody on Monday night with urethane, like Austin was saying, and I change the lane, I can guarantee you for a fact that 90% of the league, except for maybe some of the guys who are a little more experienced with it, they're not going to be able to adjust at all. And the guys who are more experienced with it are going to be able to help their team. But typically the guys who are more experienced are playing with guys who are trying to learn to get better, or are trying to, or are better players, because they don't typically go out and bowl with just anybody. They try to pull in their own team. So that way they have a really good night. They enjoy themselves. They can talk bowling and do that kind of stuff. So I don't know. It's tough. I don't think it should be banned at all. I'm just saying if there was a defense for it, it's not, it really hinders, in my opinion, it hinders my players' scores when I watch people use it.
Too bad. So sad.
That's fine, Kyle. It doesn't bother me at all. I hate bowling against urethane. I hate it. Chris Smith, if you're watching, I swear to God, if you bring that purple hammer out, I will bring it out too. I have no problem using urethane.
You bowling him tonight?
No, I have no idea who I'm bowling.
Me neither.
Mitch says every ball thrown affects the oil. It's the bowler to adjust speed, hand, ball choice to overcome the effects. People need to stop trying to have the game made too easy for them and just work on improving their game. I 100% agree. And that's what we've been talking about too. We've been harping on it the past few weeks as well. This week we talked about urethane being banned. A few weeks ago, 2 weeks in a row, where we've kind of drifted off into our scores too high. Is the game a little too easy? Now, there's some other things we talked about with it, but
yeah, I mean, we did talk about that last week, but we got some new viewers here tonight. Tell us what you think about the scores in bowling recently. Are they too high? Do you think they're just right? Should we make changes to the game? Let us know what you guys think.
Yeah, If you haven't talked to us about it,
And
absolutely.
if you haven't learned already, my opinion is the scores are way too freaking high. The scores are high. The averages are high. Too many honor scores. The integrity of the game is
I
just.
did have another one this week, by the way.
Yeah, right. I forgot to mention at the top of the show. Congratulations, Anthony had another 300 in his own house.
I'm such a cheater. Thank you. I appreciate it.
But yeah.
So what's your final word on urethane? Because we're at 50
ban resin.
Mark. Ban resin. Oh, okay, that was quick. Just
ban
so
it all. We're going to wood.
Yes. Bring back the hardwood bowling balls.
Oh yeah, we can do that. So
Zach Phillips, I don't know, but it was bad. But I shot for. So to be fair, and not to make excuses, but to be fair,
my hand position.
I was working on my hand position this week, and it finally came at the end of Sunday when we bowled in our. Oh, I forgot to mention our first ever tournament club championship, the Altamont Chimney Sweep Championship. I got to throw a plug in there. No free shout outs, but I got to throw a plug in there. Yeah, we had our tournament club, and that was pretty awesome. We had about 35 bowlers.
Yeah, 30 on the dot. 30 on the dot.
30 on the dot. Sorry, out of our 40 members.
45.
45 members. Excuse me. That was fun. I think a lot of people learned a lot of stuff, and
guys made the cut that never made the cut before. So they were able to get into a spot where they've never been before. And I talked to a few guys after, and they were extremely happy. We ran 2 divisions. So we had a lower, I think it was a 214 and 215 and under division and a 216 and plus division. It was somewhere around there. And we had about 15 and 15 roughly. It was close. And we had a bunch of guys who never made the cut before, even participated in a tournament, make the cut this week on a sport pattern.
Yeah.
And it made things really fair, and people had a chance, and they really enjoyed it. So
see Lance back from over the pond.
2 a.m. over there. Get to bed.
The eternal debate: make lanes easy, players complain; make them tougher, and they complain.
Yeah, you can't get around it. It's basically what side of the sword do you want to be on, and what side do you want to get stabbed on? Because that's how it is. They're too easy. I have guys tell me they're too easy, but the guys who tell me they're too easy join the tournament club, and they come bowl practice, and we bowl in sport shots, and we go to tournaments. So I don't really have the complaint that they're too easy. I have guys say, well, they are a little too easy, but they don't complain because we do offer a few other options, and we do go to plenty of tournaments. But the guys who say they're too hard, I kind of just laugh at this point, because it is what it is.
How many 300s do we have a week now? It's absolutely insane.
I don't know. A few weeks ago, we had 6 or 7 in 1 week.
Yeah.
So it is a little bit outrageous. I mean, if you look, we actually have our banner up. You can't see it because it's in that corner. It only has like 20-something names on it.
4 weeks into the season. Oh, I'm sorry. It's more.
That's our old one.
Month and a half. Oh.
That's our old one. And to your right is our new one.
Right.
And it's almost
the same amount.
Almost the same amount of people, and we're only a month and a half in.
Yeah.
So I think the lanes are a little too easy. But then again, we chatted on other ways to compete. But back to my urethane final stance, because I want to just clear the air so everybody knows exactly where I stand. Do not ban urethane. I am just making a case for the other side of it, for guys who do want to ban urethane. But we should not ban urethane. It is a piece that people can use in other events. If you want to use it in league, I highly don't agree with it. I think it ruins my lane, and it actually makes me look bad as a lane guy, who oil the lanes, who make the pattern for the players. Sometimes people yell at me, but then once I explain to them why and what happened, they takes them a while to understand. But they say, "Oh, that's what it does, and it negatively affects my game." Yes, most people it will. And then Bridget just says, "I'm a woman at 160. I have one because it's purple and I like it." I do have a lot of women come in here and say, should I get that ball? I like that color. And I politely tell them, no, you do not want this ball because it will kill your team, and then they will want to kill you. That's how I put it off. But no, don't ban urethane. Don't even really say it. It's been beaten like a dead horse here. Let's just keep it in the game. Guys who want to use it, they want to use it. If you don't want to get beat by it, go buy yourself one or learn how to adjust on it.
Right.
There's so many other things in the sport of bowling that could be changed before that.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
If you like I said, if you were to adjust the lane patterns or make it mandatory that the lane patterns were slightly more difficult, it would eliminate everybody whining about urethane because they would have to work on their game and make themselves better.
Right.
Mitch wants to know when the inaugural Down Lane Podcast Championship tournament is.
It's going to be
I'll give you the answer. It's when we make enough money that we can sponsor said tournament.
Yeah, Mitch, start spreading us around down there.
That's right. You see this hat? You can buy this hat. You can buy this shirt.
you can't buy that hat because it's on Kyle's head.
Sorry, it's a different color now, but the new hat is a different
Well, we could
color,
auction it off.
That's right.
Yeah, Kyle wore this hat. Here, take it.
This sweaty, gross hat. And Sealand says there's an economical aspect also. Make it tougher and risk losing players.
I don't think
they don't think it's fun.
I don't necessarily think that it would affect it as much as people think it would.
I agree.
Because most of the bowlers don't know how to really bowl anyways, and I think if they kept bowling, eventually they'll get used to it and they'll learn how to play it. I'm not saying make it astronomically hard. We've talked about this before. Do not make it astronomically hard, but make it just so it's a little bit more. There's a little bit more integrity in it. Back then, when you shot 300 in the 60s,
it meant something.
Yeah,
60s, even in the 80s and 90s.
I look at it. How many people? Let's look at golf. Did they expand the hole size so guys could hit more hole-in-ones?
No, but they left the pin in the cup.
Did they used to take it out before they hit the golf shot?
For putting.
No, I'm talking about for a hole-in-one.
Oh, hole-in-one. Sorry. Yeah.
How many people have a hole-in-one compared to 300s? Do people still play golf?
Exactly right. That's exactly what my point has been. Golf is still hard no matter where you go. There are easier courses and tougher courses,
but you still have to hit it.
But yeah, you have to make a shot every time. Now they have improved the technology and the drivers and the wedges and all that stuff.
Just like bowling balls.
But that's my point. So, but people en masse still play golf, whereas in bowling, if you
golf
make a mention,
golf is dropping alarmingly. By the way.
Okay.
Just so you know,
people
still play though.
Yeah. But that's because Tiger left the game. But if you even mention that the lanes will be a little bit harder, they threaten to quit. They say, I just want to have fun and drink beer. It's like you can have fun and drink beer if the scores are 10 or 20 pins lower.
Yeah, it's really not that bad. But we need to get to bowler of the week, Kyle.
That's right. Bowler of the week.
Sorry to push it through. We will have next week to chat, people.
Right. You're right. So if you want to enter to be bowler of the week, just head to our Instagram bio or our Facebook page, and you can grab the link to enter to be bowler of the week. We'll also post it all week long like we normally do. And we will pick from the list and pick bowler of the week. And then that person that wins each week gets entered into a drawing to win some sweet Down Lane Podcast apparel. Anthony, who is this week's bowler of the week?
This week bowler of the week is a good friend of mine. His name is Jared Pago. Come on down.
Does he even know that he won? Did you tell him no?
No, I called him right before the show and said, hey, he's the kid on the right with the black mask on. That's his dad in the middle and his brother Alex. Jared has just shot his first 300 of his career this week. He's been bowling since he's about 13 years old. His high triple is 738. That was with the 300. His high 4 game, because he only bowls 4 games. He bowls and leaves with 4 games. His high 4 game is 983, and his high game is obviously now 300.
Yeah.
So congratulations, Jared. Jared's also an avid bowler. He likes to bowl all the time. Goes to the Open Championships with us. He's going to be going again this year. He really enjoys the game, and we'd like to congratulate you on your 300 and congrats on your bowler of the week.
Well done, Jared Pago.
Great job. He does practice a lot too, so it is a well-deserved 300. It's not like he just comes in and just bowls once a week. He does practice, puts time into his game, buys equipment. Enthusiast, we should call it. He's an enthusiast.
Like I said, don't forget you can enter to be bowler of the week every week. You just have to enter by 5 p.m. on Wednesdays. You can also nominate a friend of yours or another bowler to be bowler of the week, and we will announce that on every show every week. And again, the winner each week will be entered into a drawing for bowler of the year, I think, is what we'll call it. And they'll get some Down Lane Podcast, what should we call it, apparel. But for now, it is time for us to go bowling. So I want to thank everybody for coming in tonight because we had a nice conversation with everyone. So don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends. That way you can be notified when the show is on. You can catch us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as usual. And if you can't watch the show live, you can always download it and listen from any major podcast outlet. And please, please, please give us a 5-star review. If you'd like to make suggestions for show topics, you can email us at downlanepod@gmail.com.
Do not ban this bowling ball.
That ball has saved my life.
It saved your life and mine. Do not ban urethane.
That's right. I agree with you.
Thanks, Kyle. I hope we're on the
Ban
same page.
resin. Maybe that's going to be our next shirt. Ban resin.
I don't know. I want to make my own shirt.
Whatever.
Okay, thanks.
You should show everybody your shirt tonight. Your fancy new
You can grab it right there. I don't want to take my shirt off.
That's right. You can just unzip the quarter zip there. It's way too hard. It's the pink one up over my shoulder. That's Anthony's new team bowling shirt for
13
Thursday
shirts
nights.
right here, baby. Pink.
That's right. Thank you to Austin Van Buren, the producer, Jack Scatia, proprietor of Town and Country Lanes, for letting us do this every week. And thank you to Anthony for another great show.
Was it great? Do you think it was great?
I think we had a nice conversation tonight.
Appreciate everybody stopping by.
Thank you all for coming in. Thank you to our international viewer, C. Lance.
Tune in next week. We're not
we'll
sure
be
what we're going
here.
to talk about yet, but maybe we'll see if we can spark some fire.
I think I'm trying to get your dad on the show. I think he might come on for a little proprietor spotlight. Thank you to my family, Stephanie, Zach, and Ethan. And ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next week. This is Down Lane Podcast.
Lefty love.